What we're trying to do is in the lab, we're trying to, as best we can, mimic what the product is going to see out in the field before it actually gets out in the field. Nothing takes the place of true field testing, but what we try to do is get it as right as we can, go out, try it with our users, get their feedback and say, what do you think? What do we need to change? Make those changes, retest it, and at that point, we think about selling to our customers. It's got to be, we know people pay a premium for Camelbak, but we want to feel like we give them value for what they're spending on the product. So there's no standards out there for hydration systems. We have to develop our own, and we do that through research, we do that through customer feedback, we do that through using the product ourselves. And so what you're seeing here is really kind of a conglomeration of, what really amounts to be, 18 years of 19 years of Camelbak being a kind of product. So everything you see here is custom, and there's nothing else like it in the world. So this here is a Bivalve Tester. So this is really kind of what we would consider the kind of the cornerstone of our brand. This gives us the ability when we're looking at materials, when we're doing things like pre-production validation and things like that. This allows us to exercise bite valves as if someone was taking a sip, letting it go, taking another sip, letting it go over the life of the product. And it's interesting actually, the frequency with which it bites, the dwell time that you're biting, and the release time are actually all have an effect on the life cycle of the bite valve. The paint shaker is actually pretty cool. We actually use the paint shaker. So check this out. This looks pretty sweet when you put a bottle in it. And what this is intended to do is when we put it in there and shake it, we make sure that if it's somebody's riding on a bike or shaking around, it doesn't splatter all over the place. So this is a tensile tester. We pull film apart. We test tube connections. We test plastic parts. We test buckles. We test webbing. Anything that you can want to either pull apart or compress down, we use this machine for it. This is the part that actually hangs off your shoulder that you're drinking out of, making sure if you're, as a rec user, make sure this doesn't pull off inadvertently, or whether you're a soldier crawling along the ground, this gets snagged, it's not going to pull off and then you lose all your water. So we want to make sure we get good true retention, good leak performance. So this one over here is kind of a Frankenstein machine that we use to test a variety of different components that need cycling. He's got it set up to test one of our caps that goes in our CBR system. See, it's unscrewing the cap and then screwing it back down. So we'll have that run 5, 10, 20, 30,000 cycles, and we'll just check it to make sure that it's still functioning after all those cycles. This is what we call a dynamic stress tester. And essentially what it does is it pre-fills the reservoir, fills it with air. Just really tends to mimic someone who's cranking down on this, twisting the film, twisting it back up. Because if any reservoir, typically if a reservoir is going to fail, it's going to fail at the junction between the hard point and the soft point. Should we blow up a reservoir? All right. So, just for giggles here, you put those on? So this shows you why we use urethane.
Well, you might want to stand back a little bit farther.
It's not going to blow, is it?
Oh yeah.
You want to stop it before it does that so we can kind of play with it like a beach ball?
I kind of don't want to get close to it right now.
All right.
Just kind of keeps going and going and going. One big balloon.
So you're wondering why we use urethane? That's why we use urethane. No matter how hard you end over on your mountain bike or how hard you hand out jumping out of an airplane, you're probably not going to put it under that kind of stress. It's all in a day's work. We take what we do very seriously because, we say, hey, it's not life and death, but in a lot of ways it actually is. I mean, what we're dealing with is, if our product doesn't perform, someone could get hurt. And that's kind of the way, that's why we have all this capability, that's why we have all these people, and that's why we feel like we can be in these markets because, this can be life and death. So it's not just a bag with a straw in it anymore.